There's gonna be a contest, Terrance. Okay, I will send 50 real life dollars via either Cash App or Venmo or PayPal, whatever you want. $50 to the first person who does this. A few things. One, they send 2 emails to the show. One this week, one next week. Or if you're listening to this later, 2 different shows. The emails have to be substantial. You can't say, hey, I want my money. Send something about what we talked about. Anything. It could be a question. It could be a comment, whatever it is. I want fucking emails. I'm sick of this, Terrance. I'm throwing the gauntlet down. So the first person who does this.
Or DMs.
Sure.
It's like a DM.
I guess. But it has to be good. No, just like, hey, what's no. I want to hear something about one of the show we just did. So if let's say you've been listening to all these shows, if you listen to last week's episode, write in about that, write in about this one. Okay. And if you do that, I will send, it can't be you, Terrance, sorry. I will send $50 to that person, Terrance.
I got like 3 Finstas.
You got 3 what?
From Finstas, fake Instagrams.
Jesus
Christ. Can do it from.
Wow. Great. Yeah, it's true. I guess people could do that. That's what it is, Terrance. That's the contest that's out.
I love it. I love the fan engagement.
Welcome everybody to Need I Say More, episode number 19. My name is, of course, Giuseppe. Just kidding, episode 18. My name is, of course, Giuseppe. I'm joined by Terrance.
Yes, sir.
I guess I'm doing the numbers. I get it wrong every time.
Write them down. Or maybe just look at the last episode.
I have in front of me, but I didn't immediately, and I had to scroll, and I'm just a mess. I shouldn't be doing a podcast. That's the problem with me.
Yeah, you know what? There's worser people doing better things.
I like that, Terrance. That should have been your fortune cookie advice. That's pretty good.
Worse, by the way. Worse is not a word. Worse people
doing better things. Terrance, I want to immediately talk about a pet peeve I have. I don't know if I mentioned this on the show. Why in this day and age do people, like for headlines or like newspapers or websites, they still have doofy ass shit like Tony Hawk ollies on the stores this Tuesday. Spider-Man swings into a $100 million opening. Why are we still doing this?
Oh, you mean corny white people shit?
I don't know if it's white people. I just don't know.
It's corny white
people. Who looks at that and goes, well, I got to click on this. That's hilarious. Like, just say Spider-Man opened up to 100 million. What is the swinging in? Like, who's that for? Who sees that and clicks on it for that reason?
Corny white people shit. Like, just some old guy sitting in his underwear that wrote it.
You think so?
And he thought that it would be good clickbait or something. Look, headlines are supposed to grab attention, right?
Okay, but I understand that, but that's not what it does, Terrance. These headlines, if you said Spider-Man, Far From Home, whatever the new one's gonna be called, opens up to $125 million, would that make you click more or less than Spider-Man swings into $125 million? You're gonna ignore the corny joke, and you're just gonna click where if you want it to know.
Yeah, but you gotta do the cliche stuff.
You don't have to. Actually, you don't.
It's marketing.
You don't. It's not marketing. It's just it's marketing that you are not. It's marketing that you're not funny in any capacity. That's what it's marketing that your website sucks.
But they're not marketing to you. You gotta realize that.
Who are they marketing to? Who thinks that's funny in 2021?
Clearly not you. You're not an old white guy, Joe. I don't
think it's anybody.
I think happen.
The answer is nobody. No one sees that and thinks it's funny and clicks on it for the pun.
You do know not everything is made for you to like, right?
It's not about me. I think no one likes it. It
kind of sounds like it's a personal thing.
I don't like it.
Want to like it, but it's like, why would you do it like this?
It's because they've been doing it for decades, and it's like I think in the 50s when someone finally did that for the first time, they probably were like, "Oh man, that's so hilarious, gee willikers." But now, Terrance, and for the last 30, 40 years, no one thinks it's funny. It's just like, I get it. Spider-Man swings on rope on web, so he swings.
Also,
I get it.
If it wasn't working, they might have changed it. So clearly it's working.
But I don't think if they chose a different one, you're going to get the exact same amount of clicks. If I wrote Spider-Man makes $100 million opening weekend or Spider-Man swings into, I think there's the exact same clicks, maybe less.
Regardless of the point, the headlines are made a certain way to grab attention.
Okay, Terrance, well, this week's episode is going to be Giuseppe swings into an angry fucking rant.
And no one's going to click it.
Exactly. That's my point.
At all.
That's my point, Mr. Terrance.
At all. But we are not marketing to someone that would click on something like that.
I wish your name was Terramaya and Terrance was your nickname.
Why would that even make sense?
It's like Jerry or for Jeremiah. So
Oh,
Terry
like
for
Jeremiah, but with a T in front of it.
Yeah, like Jerry is a nickname for Jeremiah. So
Oh, you want to Joe? Come on, we're not doing this. That
What?
just sounds like some dirty ghetto kid.
Jeremiah? Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe. I think it's kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah,
it's kind of like
it
it's kind of like
does.
how like Bobby is short for Robert, but it should be short for Bobbert. But
No,
Bobbert just sounds funny. So
there is
Jeremiah to me
no
sounds funny.
black nicknames that are just short for something. It's either you combine two long ass names and made one name, or we just call
Theophilus.
you an initial. That's
Yeah,
what
T.
black people do.
What's up, T?
That's it. Like your dad name starts with a Q and your mother name starts with a K, and all of a sudden you got Kushronda. Like
Stronda.
I don't know how we started doing this. Black people.
Dude.
Here's the thing, though. We want to make everybody feel so loved that we do things like that.
You want to be so unique. You name your daughter Unique, and you
Not
realize like 400 million uniques in the
not
world.
even
Like,
that.
well,
Not even that. It's about the dad wants to be included and the mom wants to be included.
so you pick parts of their name and
we
combine.
have to figure out a way to combine both of these things. I don't know who started this trend. I'm glad that it's dying
Are
out.
you gonna buck this trend with your next kid?
Of course.
Okay, so no Jeremiah.
That's not happening.
No Quastremenia.
No.
No Trashonia. Remember that one?
Even though Tori wouldn't be a bad name.
Tori,
yeah.
How like for a woman?
For a girl, yeah.
Like Torrie or just Y?
Tori.
No, that's not like a weird. It's not weird. Tori.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like my name starts with a T. Corey is Corey. I'd be like, okay. Tori.
Oh, that's what I didn't know. I didn't understand that. Sorry. Yes, to combine. That's not bad.
You didn't even catch the. You didn't even.
No, I didn't. So you fully. I was like, I just wasn't sure too.
Over your head.
Could you combine it the other way? Corrence.
Karen.
Karen for short. There you go.
Karen's.
Is Corey's first name?
I don't even want my kid to sound any name near Karen. You know.
Yeah, dude, you can't have that. It's over.
Yeah. And shout out to all the Karens.
Do you want to know
Karens?
All the Karens I've met in my life
are
not white, by the way. I don't think I've ever met a white Karen. On a side note,
I've never met a white Karen either.
At Toys R Us, there's like 3 of them. None of them are white.
Yeah, I've never met a white Karen.
Feel bad for those Karens. Anyway, Terrance, before we get too off the rails, let's go over our, of course, Black Excellence shout out of the week. Because Terrance, Black history doesn't stop ever.
Never stops.
Doesn't stop on this show.
Can't stop.
Can't stop. Won't stop.
Won't stop.
You got
all
first,
right,
bro.
So today, I think it's just pretty cool.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pandemic day 433, Terrance.
Are we still counting?
Yeah, it's still a pandemic.
Is it?
No
one's acting like it's still a pandemic.
The day that the CDC or the World Health Organization finally goes, we're no longer in a pandemic, is the day I stopped doing this. We can celebrate.
No one's acting like I mean,
they're still acting like it. Absolutely. So what? You
You
still wearing a
think so?
mask, aren't you?
You're not outside. That's why.
Are you outside wearing?
I'm still outside wearing a mask for sure.
Yeah. So you're acting like a pandemic. You're wearing a mask.
Yeah, me. But I'm saying I'm looking at everybody else, and no one else is acting like it's a goddamn pandemic.
I know, but it still is. So it's not. Listen, if it were up to the general population, it would have ended a year, and it'd been 13 months ago in April of last year, and we all know it didn't end then. So I don't trust the general public with anything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. So our Black Excellence shout out goes to the one and only the new mogul, Mr. Kevin Hart.
Is he a mogul?
I want to say new mogul. He's becoming one. I would think. I would say so. No, Kevin Hart, man. Kevin Hart he's just doing dope shit.
He's
just doing his thing. He's just doing dope shit. And then watching from where he started, one of the first movies I've ever seen him in was Paper Soldiers. And I know
I first saw him in the 40-Year-Old Virgin. Do you remember his part in that?
40-Year-Old Virgin. Yeah.
I remember someone was like, "Oh, that dude's really funny. I saw him on this thing." And I was like, "Oh yeah, cool. I don't know who he is, but he's kind of funny." But then he just blew up like 5 years
Paper
later.
Soldier was a hood classic. Definitely one of the movies that you got from the dude on the corner for $5, and he was selling 3 for $10.
I've bought those before. Every once in a while, I'll buy like a DVD like that.
You got it. You got to support that. You got to support that.
He was in.
He got everything. He got the stuff you wasn't even looking for. Like he'll just sell you. Like you saw this.
This isn't even out in theaters. How did you already have it on a DVD? But all right.
Said that, yo, hey, hold on, wait. Those guys are extinct now, obviously, because we have streaming and we got a lot of other
Are
stuff
they
that we can do
extinct?
online.
I bought Creed back in like 2016. I don't know if I think they're still
I
out there.
think I think those dudes are extinct, you know.
But I still see people, not in the pandemic, but I still see people for like movies that are in theaters that you can't stream. They still have those.
They still got them out there.
Yeah,
Well,
I've seen them.
you're in Harlem, so
Yeah, that's true.
that's Harlem is a
And
that's a hustler
when
city.
when I worked in the Bronx, I remember that's the last time I think I saw one. To be fair, so.
Yeah, but nah,
He was
Kevin's
in epic
doing
movie, superhero movie,
dope
and
stuff.
extreme movie. No, those they weren't
Dope,
dope stuff. They weren't.
dope. And
And scary movie.
also
Oh, he was
a couple
funny in
things I
scary
wanted to
movie. I
note.
forgot about that.
I wanted to note about Kevin, right? LOL Productions, right? The LOL app is a really, really good app. Kevin owns that Laugh Out Loud network, right? I have that app, and it's just like random comedy stuff, like a bunch of funny stuff on this app. Like it's super dope when you just got like nothing to do, nothing to watch or whatever. You're just looking for something funny. You know, sometimes you're in the mood to see something funny.
Yeah, I did that the other day on Netflix.
That app has like just nothing but funny shit, right? Also, Kevin has a new movie coming out on Netflix where he's playing more of a serious role.
Really?
And I like to see comedians do things like that.
It's about time. He's done great in the comedy world. It's not surprising he wants to.
I love to see comedians do.
Is
things
it Fatherhood?
Like that. I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Ooh, Paul Wentz is directing it. That's actually legit.
It looks like a really serious, emotional movie, something that's gonna make you cry and everything. I don't want to give too much about it away. But the title is called Fatherhood. Yeah. As far as even the trailer or whatever, I'm still somebody that enjoys trailers. Like
I do too. Just depends. Like it pissed me off. Like like everybody when they reveal the whole movie, you're like, all right.
It might. But
that's not good.
Check
That's
out the trailer for Fatherhood though.
That
looks good. Also, the other thing I wanted to note: when you look up Kevin Hart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why did they list his ex-wife above his current wife?
What are you on Wikipedia?
On Wikipedia,
spouse Tori Hart. Oh, it goes in order of like.
I kind of don't.
But that's how that's just the standard of how it's done. It's like the earliest was 2003, 2011. They divorced, and then
I get it. I
don't think she gives a shit what fucking Wikipedia says.
Probably doesn't, right? Probably doesn't.
But
also,
she's with Kevin Hart. Should be all right.
But also, does his ex-wife even need to be on the Wikipedia page anymore?
Again, Wikipedia is just information, so they just put information out there. You know,
I get it. And
this
also
is who his spouse was,
can
so
kind of get into it and everything like that, right?
If she like really didn't want to be found or like talked about, I mean,
no, I'm just saying for me, if my ex-wife, like, get it, you're the mother of my kids and everything like that, blah blah blah, but you're also my ex-wife. So when you put it, so when my name comes up and under spouse, my ex-wife is still showing up.
Hey man,
it's like,
don't
come on now.
I have two pieces of advice to you, Terrance. Don't get divorced and don't get famous, and you won't have to worry about this.
I always heard that it was cheaper to keep her.
Yes, that's what I've heard too.
That was the slogan that I heard.
Have you seen the Jumanji movies with him?
Yeah, I checked them out.
They're great. Right. I love them. I actually really like both those movies. They're really good. They're like better than they should have been. You almost think they should have been like terrible.
All right, I'm tired of Rock.
I'm not tired. I fucking love The Rock. I'll take more.
I'm tired of The Rock. I'm tired of seeing The Rock and shit.
Does Corey like The Rock? She thinks he's attractive?
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was like I thought a lot of women did, but I
know she liked dark skinned men.
No, is that why she's with you? If you were lighter, she'd be like, nah, fuck out of here. So you can't pull a Sammy Sosa. It's out of the question.
No.
I'd stop being friends with you, to be fair, as well. So I guess. Terrance, have you ever received bad advice, like when you were a kid, that like someone older than you probably like gave you advice and it stuck with you, and then like later on you were like, well, that was terrible advice? I'm gonna give you an example. When I was like 10 or 11, one of my uncles he looked at me and he went, "You can never wear too much cologne." What fucking advice is that, Terrance? I thought that was true for like 4 or 5 years. I started wearing cologne, and I was like, nope, I wore too much.
You were drowning in it.
I mean, not like drowning, but like people were like, oh, and then no one says it immediately, but eventually people start like whispering that you like, what kind of advice is that? You know funny. What? Maybe I'm a bit stereotypical. Maybe that's a very Italian thing. Just a Goomba thing to wear too much fucking cologne.
You know what? I have one that was pretty bad advice.
Yeah.
My uncle told me to slouch. He told me
Told
to
you
slouch.
He
Like,
encouraged
yeah, like
slouching.
he was like, I remember sitting up straight one time, and he punched me in the back of my back and was like, "Why are you sitting like that?"
That's the reverse of what they're
Like, you
supposed to
need
do.
He was like, "You need to slouch."
That is phenomenal. I cannot believe that's a real thing. Did that make you start slouching moving forward?
Yeah, and then I got over it again and was like, "Yo, like, no, I can't.
Terrance, if you
That's
have
not the
back
way to
problems
sit.
at any point in your life, you send him the bill.
That's
That's
not
what you
the way to
do. You
sit.
send him the
Like,
bill.
you're not supposed to sit. Like, you're supposed to sit, like with a
Yeah,
straight back or whatever.
I
Like, that's actually
slouch too.
proper.
I slouch too much. I wish someone was telling me to not slouch, not telling me
Yeah,
to
no,
slouch.
no, that was bad advice. That was bad advice.
Sounds like it. But all right, man. Let's dive into one of our topics here. Basically the question: can a race or an ethnicity or a community, whatever you want to call it, can they own a style or a look? Like, for example, like, can black people say no one's allowed to wear dreads or like cornrows? Because we've seen this in the past. Is that fair that anyone of any race can do that, or like is it just stupid? What is it, Terrance? I don't know. What do you think?
All right. You said own, and I think own is a key word.
I mean, own, like when people get offended if you use that thing and you're not that group. Like, people, if you're black people get offended if someone's wearing dreads who isn't black. Is that fair?
I don't think it's fair. I think that's stupid.
I
I think that's stupid. I think other races having dreads make them look stupid. That's just my opinion.
Usually, yeah. Every once in a while, I see someone and I'm like, okay, they kind of pull it off, but usually
but I do think it's stupid for black people. Like, yo, like, you can't wear it. Like, people getting on Justin Bieber about having dreads.
Oh, he's a fucking idiot. So I mean,
Jeremy Lin about having dreads or whatever.
Yeah, we had cornrows, right?
Yeah, something like that. Whatever.
I think it was. Yeah.
But it's just like, all right, well, let them do what they want to do with their hair. Like,
but isn't that just them saying this style that you have?
It's more of appreciation.
Is it not? Like, listen,
it's
I understand.
More of an appreciation.
I don't like, some people say like appropriation. I'm like, if you're like trying to profit off of it or something, I could see that. But if you're just like Jeremy Lin, like, he liked that hairstyle and he's had a ton of hairstyles. Why can't he just? Yeah, why can't he just? Like, he made it famously. I don't know if you remember this. I think Kenyon Martin who got mad at him for it. He was like, "We get it. You want to be black." And then Jeremy Lin like showed a picture of Kenyon Martin who has like a Chinese tattoo on his shoulder.
Yeah, it was like, yo, you got these tattoos.
He's like, oh,
I'm not saying you want to be Asian.
But he literally was like, it's great that two different people can just show appreciation in different ways for each other's culture. And like, isn't that what it is?
And I remember there was a lot of people like when the Asian symbols and stuff like that was a big thing to go into the tattoo shop to get. Remember that? People would be like, yo, do you even know what that really means? Like, that's what they told you at the shop. But do you know if that actually means that or whatever? 9 times out of 10, you probably didn't. We wasn't really using Google heavy like that. And back
also, how could you? How are you gonna type in that symbol, Terrance?
Right. It is not
right now. I couldn't type in any symbol on this keyboard. I don't know.
It just doesn't work like that or whatever. But no, I don't. I look at it like you said, like it's appreciation, right? So if I go and say like, I don't even know, like, besides the hairstyles or whatever,
even like a certain way style we dress, of clothes,
right?
Yeah,
like the way we dress, right? Like, there's a hip hop culture. There's a hip hop culture. There's a way we dress, and there's a style, and you could tell when you see a little white kid walking down the block, where his influence came from, right? Like, the way he's dressed, you can be like, oh, he's influenced by
likely his parents, etc. Like his parents or his family or where he grew up is where the kids
or right. Sometimes a lot of kids are a product of their environment, right?
Yes.
So I know from growing up in a black neighborhood that there was always that white kid around. There was always that white dude that was just in the neighborhood or whatever.
He's from the neighborhood, you're saying, though.
He was in the neighborhood. He's from the neighborhood.
Yeah, so what's wrong with him dressing similarly?
He would be the same. He would move the same way we move. Obviously, he wasn't around to say nigga, but everything else was fair game. He put a do-rag on. He
and what's wrong with that? Like, I don't like.
Way,
that's what I'm saying. I look at that and it's like, well, if he grew up in the same environment as you did, then what's the problem?
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not. It's not culture vulturing, right? It's not culture vulturing. You're not taking from it, right? Now, when you look at people like Kim Kardashian, who's been accused of culture vulturing,
has she?
Yeah, she's been accused of culture vulturing.
In terms of what is she like?
I think she did something with braids and was like then selling like
See,
weave.
that's where I think it
something
gets
like
bad.
that.
If you
Like,
start selling stuff or making money, that's a problem, I think.
yeah,
Like if
there
you're just a
was
dude walking on the street wearing something, I think it's fine. If you're selling something like that, it's like, well, then you are kind of taking from maybe that culture who started it or made it popular, whatever it is.
well,
That's a
yeah,
little
you
more
are.
tricky. Yeah. So
You
that
are.
to me, I'm like, yeah,
You
I'm not.
definitely are.
Right.
You know, you could look at simple things. Well, I wouldn't even call it simple, but you can look at things such as like the NFL, right? Where they had the Washington Redskins, right?
Jesus.
That's appropriation,
That's even worse. That's just like
right? Like you could
horribly offensive,
it
right in your
is
face.
100%,
Yeah.
100%, right?
Appropriate. I guess it is making money off of.
It of
Also, it's being racist and it's making money off of it. It's not even like
yes, it is.
you can't even like, oh, we're appreciating it. It's like, are you?
Right, right. And
Are they? They're changing that, right?
they changed that. Yeah, it's now and I mean it took them a while to do that,
It's
but
like
they did it.
forever. Did they officially? Is it like
It
starting?
is the
Already
Washington
started.
team.
Oh, that's right. They don't have a name. Aren't they
They
like
don't have a
making a
name.
name or starting next
Yeah,
year or
they're still
something?
trying to figure it out. They're still trying to figure out it's now
What's
called the
hilarious
Washington team.
What's hilarious about that is you could have just made that into a fan thing. Hey, everybody, we're going to change the name. What do you want to be called? Make it a contest. Like that's what the Ravens did. The Ravens put out a contest when they remember because they lost their team a while back. When they
Yeah.
they put out like what, and they were like top three. And this is like 20 years ago, 40, 30 years ago. They put out like like the most popular names. And then those people, and then everyone in that like Baltimore and everyone voted, and that's how it became the Ravens. Like,
Yeah.
make it a thing.
Yeah, but back to what we were saying though, I think it's more of appreciation, and I think a lot of us just kind of gotta just chill. Like it's not that serious.
Thank you. See,
It's not that serious.
I agree 100%, man. I do think people get a little too like riled up about this stuff. And it's like, I don't really, the way I dress or my hairstyle or whatever it is, like, I'm just a goofy white dude. So my stuff is boring as hell. I don't really do anything like that. So I'm not necessarily.
You need a Spanish chick in your life.
I've had many of them and it's great.
You need one that's just gonna be here and just like kind of
Latinas, man.
Change your whole wardrobe and everything like that.
I will say, listen, well, I don't want all that. What I would say is
gonna come on a show next week and be like, tranquila.
Bro, I love women of all kinds, but Latinas definitely have a extreme soft spot in my heart, Terrance.
Oh man.
Yes.
I'm waiting for that Dominican girl to come into your life and make you, shape up your beard
several,
all crazy.
No, see, here's the thing.
Stripes in your eyebrows, trying to wild out.
If you see me one day with 3 stripes in my eyebrows, I need you to just knock me out right there. Just cold cock me right there on the floor. Listen, I've dated several Dominican women, and listen, I don't do the shape up. The shape up is not for me. It's not my style. I shave my own beard. I don't want it to look.
You don't do the shape up?
I refuse. I don't like the look of it. It's not who I am. I've decided that many years ago.
On your beard or your hairline?
My beard for sure. I don't know. I'm the only person who cuts my beard. My hair, I mean, when I get my hair cut, it looks, it looks good. I'm not gonna,
Oh man, we gotta try that for you.
No, it's not my look, man. It's not my look. It's not. I don't want that to be my look. To me, that is a look, and if you have that look, fine. But it's not for me.
You don't think it looks good on you?
Don't know. I've never actually tried it, but it's a look.
Oh, see, you can't do that. Then
listen,
you gotta try it.
It's a look that
you gotta try it.
Is that what you think?
Hair grows.
Is that a hard rule, Terrance? You just need to try something before you say you don't like it.
Gotta try it.
I could think of some things. I could think of some things right now. I could say. I think you'd question. You'd reverse that stance.
Just try it.
I'm not trying it. No, I just don't think it's a good look for me. When I see it, it's just not a look I want. I don't know. I'm fine with my beard the way it is. You don't even have a beard. So what do you know? Yeah. Only beard guys can talk about this stuff, Terrance. Don't appropriate my beard.
Don't appropriate your beard.
Dude, that's my thing. I do agree with you because especially like it gets tricky. Like I think the Vikings are the first people to actually have dreads or cornrows.
I gotta let it grow out as well. There's a certain look that like kind of like as you get older, you're kind of like, yeah, like I think I'm over this.
I think you should definitely grow your beard out if you can.
I think I'm over this.
I think you should try growing it out a little bit and then like shaving it like a little bit later.
We'll do the swap. We'll do the swap.
I'm not shaving. I shaved a year ago during the pandemic. I look like a fucking idiot, Terrance. Holy shit. I don't know if it's because I've had this beard now for like 6 years. I don't know if it's because I'm used to my face. I have no jaw is what it looked like. I just had like
your jawline.
Everything was just skin from my eyes to my neck, Terrance. Just white, pale skin. It did not look good. Now, the only person who saw me like this was my roommate at the time. And she said I looked fine, but she's also very nice. It was actually Jerry. You remember Jerry? She was on our show. She said I looked fine, but she's also just being nice, I think. But yeah, by the way, I think it was like the Vikings technically had like cornrows first. Did you know that? Like before black people ever had it. So this is where it gets tricky. Or we have to trace the shit back thousands of years and then give it to them. Is that how it works?
No.
So I'm saying it's stupid. It's just, that's like that comes off to me as very petty. So I don't. So I'm glad we both agree. I do think it. People get too riled up about it, and I think in general, like it is just appreciation. Like if I'm wearing something, if I'm styling myself in one way, then yeah, I appreciate the look. What's wrong with that?
That's it.
Like what if like did white people invent jeans? Does that mean like jeans only go to white people? Like that's like who invented jeans? Are we gonna classify that into somebody? So anyway, all right, Terrance. So there's a topic you actually brought up here that I want to get into here.
Oh, I don't even remember that shit. But God,
do you ever? Is there where's the line between you have a standard of who you would date or be with? Where's the line cross over into where you're just stuck up?
Oh, I remember this.
It's tricky. It's a tricky question, but yeah, you did. We talked about this once.
Yeah, and the reason why I brought it up is because we had the conversation with the whole exes a couple of weeks ago, right? And one of the things that had came to my mind was like, what do people expect, when they're getting into a relationship or what they're looking for or whatever the case may be. So while I was thinking about that, I was like, man, what does your list look like when you're looking for a woman?
Like what physical things am I looking or an overall?
I didn't say physical. I just said
asking
list.
you.
I just said list. It can be physical. So it can be whatever.
Well, physical, it just has to be someone I'm attracted to, right? I mean, that could be, I have like a specific type in my head, but I've been attracted to many different kinds of women. So it's just, I need to be attracted to. If you're not attracted to a person, then that's just friendship, right? So attraction. But in everything else, like I got to be able to talk to them, right? Like I'm going to spend more time talking to this woman than anything else I'm going to do with them. So I got to be able to talk and about anything, whether it's something serious, something funny, or you're just talking about what's going on. You need someone you communicate with well. Communication's vital. Trust. I got somebody I can trust. I mean, if without trust, then I don't know.
Trust is built. You don't really know that in the beginning.
Well, I think in general, like you can get a feeling like sometimes you meet someone and you're like, they seem shifty. So you have to have that. But then, like obviously, as you start talking early on, if you find you're not trusting them early, for whatever reason. Yeah. So I think trust is obviously important.
Okay. So would you say your list is less than 10?
Maybe.
Like
I would say I have fairly high standards. I think every woman I've been with. For a male,
you would say for a male, you have fairly high standards.
I guess for a male, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know the comparison, but I think my standards, I like what I like. I'm not going to settle. So I think I do have kind of a high standard, but which is I'm ugly. So it doesn't really make any sense, but I think it's just, I don't know. I'm not going to be interested in someone who is, I don't know, maybe I only find a little attractive or is maybe like really bad at communicating and it's just frustrating or, you just don't really vibe with. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'll be single for a year if I need to, if I'm not meeting the right person. Right. I'm not going to go, well, this person's okay, let me date them. It's like, well, no. So I would say I actually have a kind of a high standard.
Right. So that's cool. Right. Now,
what about you?
What about me?
Yeah. I mean, obviously you're taken, but do you think you have like a high standard? Would you say your list is?
Yeah. I feel like my standards have grown for sure. I feel like
grown like more standards, or
they
just grown? Okay,
matured.
They matured.
Like I would say they matured as far as like what I thought I was interested in compared to what I have now, and I'm like, oh, this is what I actually was looking for.
I would agree with on myself as well. Yeah, I think mine have grown.
Right, your standards have matured, right?
Yeah, and I think they should, right? Like so as you get older.
My question, and I really don't want to, put words in people's mouths, especially in females' mouths. My question more so was like, why does it seem like women have all the same standards? Or even if it's not the same, is more of a general, like they all read a book.
You're saying that
like this is the general standards that we're looking for.
All women have the same, not the same as us.
Most.
Okay.
Most women have the same standards as each other.
Okay. It's an interesting question, Terrance. I don't know why. I do think women have a higher standard or have a high standard generally.
No, absolutely. And deservingly so. Deservingly so.
I think part of it is, especially in the modern day, is that they realize there's lines of guys, or not even guys, lines of people, whatever you're interested in, who are interested in you because of like apps and social media and just the way our world has changed. Like women, I think, are constantly getting talked to. So they
Right.
realize like,
So the
if I
percentage
don't
is
like this
higher
person,
for you to meet somebody, right?
yeah, think about it. If you literally have 100 people looking after you, whereas if you had two, you might go, well, I kind of like them both. But if you have 100, then you might go, well, I don't know, this guy looks kind of cool, but oh, he has this, I don't like that. Like if you have a wealth of options, then yeah, you don't, you're allowed
So
to be more
why
picky.
so I guess my question is like, why does it seem like that women have established a standard, and
And a lot of men will fuck anything that walks.
well, yeah, a lot of men will.
Yeah,
Like men are
unfortunately.
creeps. We're creeps.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm not.
Absolutely.
Yeah, many men are.
But it seems like like you'll meet five. Like let's say you got 10, 6 of them probably be like, yeah, we're all looking for the same type, without even knowing each other. Their lists will be almost identical. 6'8",
6'8",
6 figures. Must have this, must have that. And
it's
then
an interesting question.
If that is your preference, that's absolutely fine. But I guess the thing is that pool isn't a large pool.
But do you think women would argue that men have those standards? The woman's got to be only 5'2", big tits, fat ass. Like, was that what they would say about us?
They think we will take anything down. I don't think they think that about us at all.
Yeah, it's true. What
they think we'll take anything down.
This is a fascinating question, Terrance. I think the reason most women have a high standard is because they almost have unlimited options. Like there's unless you're like, I'm talking hideous, even if you're like a moderately attractive woman, you could get laid any night you want. You could walk to any bar, meet some guy.
Remember, there's always that one chick that when you're with
oh boy.
And people might not like when I say this, but whatever, fuck it. There's always that one chick when you out with your boys in a group of guys, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And let's say it's 4 of us. And let's say we meet a group of 4 chicks. 3 of them are good. 1 of them ain't.
Oh, the duff, Terrance, the duff.
Somebody got to take one for the team.
It's the duff.
I don't know what the duff is. What the hell?
Designated ugly fat friend. There's always women always have a duff, and it's not even the designated thing. But
women, man, we're gonna sound so sexist on this episode.
Listen, man, we probably will, so I apologize to women, but a lot of women, I think this has changed a bit, but a lot of women know to only have friends that are less attractive than you. That's a thing.
Ooh, that might be a thing. I feel like that is a thing.
That is a thing. And I think
definitely feel like women do that on purpose without even saying it.
Of course they do. Of course.
Like y'all keep the ugly friends around to make you feel better.
It's the same reason that like bridesmaid dresses are like famously shitty, because the bride is supposed to look the best. No one's supposed to look at anyone else the bride. It's kind of like that in real life with women where, yeah, you have like uglier friends. And it's not like a hard fact. Women have beautiful friends as well. But a lot of women do have like uglier friends because like, I don't know, they want the attention. They just happen to be hot. I don't know. They would argue, women who are listening are probably like, we don't choose that shit. You guys are a bunch of morons, but this is what I've seen.
Yeah. So now we just have to understand, like, when someone's approaching you, like, would it be better for you to say your standards, or like you don't even meet my standards?
So I walk over and I'm like, hi, how are you? Can I buy your drink?
Like, nope, sorry, you don't check off anything on my list.
Here's the thing. You're 5'8"? Yeah, I'm only for 6 feet tall. Also, how much money? Well, my money is that's not enough either. Also, I don't like your beard, and you seem, you don't smell good enough.
There you go.
You'd want to hear that, Terrance?
So now I'd probably rather hear that.
I would not.
That would you to like home. Bullshit than for you to just like bullshit it though.
Terrance, I think the only
for me
way
to think you a bitch, I'd rather hear the truth than for me to think you a bitch.
Terrance, I think the only way to get to the bottom of this is to ask a live female this question. What do you think?
A live female?
A live one, Terrance. Live girls.
She's alive.
What do you think, Terrance? You think we should get someone in?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, is this Stephanie?
Yes.
Hi, Steph. I think we've spoken before, Stephanie. I'm Giuseppe, of course.
Hi, how are you?
I'm got her, Steph. What's up?
That's Terrance.
Hey, Terrance.
Everyone, welcome to the Need I Say More show. Stephanie.
Gotta give you the proper introduction.
Stephanie, we have a bit of a debate going on. Can you help us out?
Is it a debate?
Well, I don't know if the debates. It's a.
I feel like he was on my side. Don't try to back out now.
Well, no, I'm not. All right,
Try to
yeah,
back
all right.
out
Good
now.
point. I'll rephrase. We're talking about a specific topic, and we need advice, especially from a woman. And we need that perspective.
Hmm.
Can you help us out or no?
She sounds. She's
All
like,
right.
what the
Well,
fuck
we
y'all
try
getting
to find
into?
someone, and that didn't work, and just hang up on her.
She's
Oh,
like,
no.
what are y'all getting into? No, intro it, Joe. Intro. Tell her what's going on.
Basically, the question is what there's everyone has certain standards for who they may date or see, right? When do
Mhm.
you cross the line of you have standards or you just become like stuck up? And Terrance was saying that he thinks that a lot of women all kind of have similar standards. Like, I don't know if you want to go over them specifically, Terrance, but a lot of women have like very specific standards, and it's
I think a lot of women have the basic standards for what they're looking for. And my kind of like example was like out of 10, 6 women probably have the same standards on their list without understanding that pool of men that they may be looking for isn't that large. So out of the 6 of you that have those standards, probably 2 of you actually get to cross off everything off your list.
Probably none most of the time.
geez, no one
Okay,
stacks
so
up.
what
Terrance.
would you say is your, and I asked Joe this question too, right? And he says he has high standards for a guy.
It's fairly high.
Fairly high
Okay.
standards for a guy, right? Would
Never
you
settle,
say you're
Terrance, as we said. Never settle.
No, absolutely. I agree with that. Never settle. I agree with that. But also because I'm going to come back to that. Would you say your list of standards is more or less than 10? Like the thing that you're looking at as far as like, okay, he meets this, he meets that.
6'9", 500K a
I feel
year.
I feel like you can make your list as long as you can because you can get down like and be really nitpicky about things. But I feel like I have the basic 4 or 5 that you probably consider most women have on their list.
Can I guess it?
Sure, go ahead.
And I guess it.
I just want to take a shot at it. I mean, look, I'm okay with being wrong as long as somebody's teaching. So
prioritize them as well.
what's that?
Damn, she said put them in order, like prioritize them.
Oh,
What do you think is her number?
Okay,
one?
all right. You know what?
I'm excited.
I'm up for a challenge. I'm up for a challenge.
If I could put the GIF of Michael Jackson eating popcorn right now, I would.
I'll go with the 4, right? And out of the 4, I'd probably say
Number
3
1
would be career. I'm trying to go in as much order as I think. 3 would be career.
Well, hold on. Does that mean in terms of the money they make, or just having a good, stable career?
Stable career, maybe not really money they make, but stable career.
Okay.
Right. 4, 2 would be personality. 4 would be
this order you're going in is insane.
Yeah, but I don't know. This is how my head
4,
works.
2. I don't know.
Right. 3 career, 2 personality. I want to say 4 would be looks, and I think 1 would be interest.
The looks thing is interesting. I think height and looks need to be separated.
I think looks and height.
I think height is high up on the list, whereas looks are much lower. Because if you're taller, that or whatever, presumably taller, that's fine. But if you're not as attractive, I think women are like, well, at least.
All right, Steph, how'd I do?
I'm actually pretty shocked because I don't know. I feel like we weren't identifying the elephant in the room because you didn't really say finances.
I did mention that. I did say, do you mean
I
finances
feel like career and finance fall into the same boat.
I asked you that question. I said, do you mean stable job or finances?
Stable job.
Stable.
I feel like
you said not
like
so
most
much
women would be
money.
interested in a guy like he has a stable job.
But you said
now, as far as whether is he working as a CEO or is he, dipping fries at McDonald's,
both valuable.
Both valuable, stable, right? Like it depends on the woman. So that's why I said more of a stable job.
Wow, what do you think, Stephanie? Is how much money they make important for you?
Yeah, I would rank it. I'll do the normal way of ranking things, starting with the number 1.
Thank you. Not going 1 to 6 to 2 and 4, or whatever the hell you said. Psychopath.
So 1 for me would be finances.
Wow.
2 would be chemistry. 3 would be kind of like their DNA and kind of like family makeup, that
What?
type of stuff.
Whoa.
You're blowing my mind right now, Stephanie. Holy shit.
And 4, I would say just overall their heart, like just the type of person they are.
Are they sweet?
Yeah.
Okay, so finances, man. I always thought that was more of like something people just said about women, but like how much a guy makes is important. Like if he doesn't make enough, you're like, oh, sorry, slugger. Like if I
Not
said,
to
oh, I make all 40K, you're gonna be like,
It's
only
not enough for her.
80K or above.
It's not enough for her.
Well, the thing is if you're dating with intention, if you're not really dating with intention, then like who cares about how much money people are making? But as you get older, it's just kind of like, okay, it's not going to make sense if I'm questioning if you can afford this date or not.
Wow.
Like,
But
it's just,
but is
it's
there
not too hopeful.
But I don't know if you have a guy, like if you're making like, 40, 50K, I mean, you can afford to go out on a date. I mean, it's not like, it depends on what kind of date you're talking about. Going on dates, you're taking them
Well,
like
not
France.
consistently. Not consistently.
Not consistently.
With
So that's
40,000,
like a
I
once
don't
a
think
month.
you can. Yeah, it's not a once a week type thing because you
Yo,
have to,
you got some
Yeah,
high
but wait.
fucking standard, Steph. Holy shit.
Wait. Because I gotta. So you're expecting him to walk in to meeting you with all of this already set.
Stephanie, me and you are unfortunately not compatible.
oh, I'm so sorry. Dang.
But
But
you're expecting him to walk in, with all of these things already in place in line, correct?
I mean, I would hope so. I mean,
Is that just
granted,
because of the age
no one's
thing?
going to be, I feel like no one is going to be the full package because obviously you need to allow room for growth. But the age thing is a big thing. If how I was dating whenever I was in college is completely different of how I date now.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just
If you meet a guy and like you really vibe in and things are great and you're like, oh my God, this guy's like, he's the height, he's tall, he looks amazing, he's funny, chemistry, all that stuff's there. And it's really going well. But then you find out, yeah, he's maybe not making that much right now. Is that just one of those things where you're like, well, on to the next?
Yeah, can you grow with him? Is that something that's on the table? Like, you know what? He's not there yet, but you know what? We can do this together.
Well, so then if that's not up to par, then that's whenever you start looking at the other categories like, okay, is our chemistry 110%? If it's, with chemistry, I'm just kind of putting in like belief system and stuff like that,
Right.
just kind of lumping all that together. And if I feel like he's an 11 out of 10 in that department, okay, I might be able to.
You can make up for it, you're saying, in other categories.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the finances part it's really hard to look over that because you can't pay things in love or you can't pay things in great personality.
You thank God you're not a songwriter because I don't know how your songs would sell.
How are we gonna pay for this meal with my heart?
Like, could you imagine?
With my heart?
No,
that's it.
I mean, listen, you're pragmatic, and I respect that, but that makes me a little sad. Hopefully, there's not. I mean, I know there's not everyone.
But granted, I feel like a lot of women get a lot of slack for saying something like finances because people think above and beyond, like, oh, well, I need to be on a PJ and I need a Birkin and I need this and I need that. And it's not necessarily.
So you're not asking for a Birkin?
I don't know what the fuck that means.
I mean, I'm not denying one.
She's not.
But
Birkin is a very expensive bag, Joe.
Oh,
it's a very expensive bag that you can't get right now.
Terrance, I can afford anything I want right now. How do you know? So let me ask you a question then, Stephanie.
Yeah, I know. I called you a secret Jew.
I don't know how I feel about that. When the fuck did you say that? Where was I? It's just because I'm Italian and Jews and Italians look alike doesn't mean I'm Jewish. And I'm good with my money. So let me ask you a question, Stephanie. Why do you think men are not, like, how many men would say that finances is their number one? Do you think it's the same as women?
Yes, for
Really?
them, because I
Because you're going to
feel
take them
like
out on dates.
I would agree with that for sure.
I've
because
never.
have you ever, I mean, I'm saying, have you guys ever noticed? Well, you guys are men, so you please feel free to interject. But I feel like a lot of men, your value in dating is really based on who you are, what you do, and what you make.
Mm-hmm.
And if most of the time when a guy is unhappy with his finances, he lashes out in other departments. And it's not a good thing. It's never a good look for a man to not have financially, because it kind of like emasculates, you know?
But what I mean is like,
you feel a little less than yourself for sure.
What I mean like is how many men look at when they're a potential woman they're going to date and go, oh well, she's not making that much money. That's a big like check mark against her. I don't think that is that the same.
I'll ring the bell here. It was on my list.
How high?
It wasn't high. It wasn't high, but it was on my list.
It was number one on Stephanie's. That's what I'm saying. Do you think a lot of men? Do you think a lot of men have? I'm saying like reverse. Like, and if not, why?
I think for men, it's not as high on their priority list, just because of gender norms and all of that type of stuff. But there are going to be a select few men that say, hey, I'm making XYZ and I don't need someone who's a bum and just leeching off of me.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that either. Listen, I would never say that either. No one wants to listen. If you're making like 100K, that the person's unemployed, it's problematic. But I would never care if a woman's making significantly less than me, or even is not even making that much. Like if I find I'm interested in someone, that's way more important.
Would you rather her just be trying to do something? Like as long as you're putting in the effort to do something.
I think that in terms of your career and your finances, you should always be striving to do more, and not necessarily like killing yourself working 100 hours, but you should always be like hoping maybe for promotion or maybe going to school or, working towards like the next thing. Cause that's just called growth. And I think that like, if you're with someone who's not growing, I don't know, if they're like stagnant, that could be very unattractive, I think, to most people.
So wait, Steph, I have a question now because of everything you're saying. And I know we're kind of like stuck on the finance stuff, and I swear we're gonna get off it eventually.
Thank you.
I know we're gonna get off it eventually, but there's gonna be some men that are in that position, and they meet everything, and then they'll one of the first things that they'll probably bring to the table is like, okay, well, what do you offer? What do you bring to the table? How do women combat that? How do you like it's like, okay,
look down and they're like, this is what
you're attractive, and but that doesn't last forever. There's only so much plastic surgery can do,
but it doesn't do well.
Well, the thing with
what else?
That's another.
Don't rely on that.
So I feel like whenever men are saying, okay, what do you bring to the table? This is gonna sound horrible, but
it is with it.
It kind of is what it is. But what most women bring to the table is a womb, to be completely honest, because men want kids. Like
Big Daddy Giuseppe don't want kids, so no worries there.
I mean, most men. I mean, would you say men?
I would agree with you. I just want to point out that I am a very unique individual.
Uniqueness is great.
Carry on.
But obviously you're not just bringing, what's in between your legs, because that's kind of ridiculous. But obviously you have to be someone that is intelligent, that can push you to get to the next level, and also push yourself to get to the next level. Because, I mean, you guys kind of use the term to dismiss us or like kind of make us feel a little bit lesser than like, oh, my cheerleader. But it's like, it's more than just cheering on the sidelines. It's more about motivating and being actually in the game with your significant other. So I feel like you guys don't necessarily say that all the time, but that's the main thing that you guys are asking us to bring to this table.
That's fair.
No, it is. And I like it because it's something that I learned. Like I call my girl my co-captain.
Yes, that's what I would say too. Yeah, I don't cheerleader. I would never.
Yeah, that's my co-captain. That's my ride or die. Like when it comes down to like financial decisions, like we talk about it. Like, yo, this is what we got to do. This is what we can't do, or whatever. A lot of times she'll follow my lead. She'll follow my lead, whatever it is or whatever. Sometimes I gotta shut the fuck up because she's right. And we can't do that right now, whatever it may be. All right. Now we let's get off the finance part of your list, right? Because I brought up a situation where I said, like, if I was single and I met a chick, you know, whatever, and I didn't meet her standards, I would probably rather her tell me what she wasn't liking about me rather than for me to have the notion that she's just a stuck-up bitch.
I was saying, like, if you went to a bar and you wanted to talk to somebody, would you want the woman to straight up be like, "You're not tall enough. I don't really like your clothes, and I don't know. You just
let me
you just
see your last month's bank statements. Let me put it out there.
How much? 67. Close. 70 minimum is for me though. Thank you.
So, like, would you say like that's something that women probably would do more? I would say, honestly, I would say women probably should do that more. And I'm not in the dating game anymore. But
women do it. It's just men are not listening most of the time. Whenever, like, okay, let's do an example. So let's say you're dating someone and you make a recommendation to the type of restaurant you want to go to. She doesn't really necessarily agree with the restaurant, but you're kind of like, okay, well, let me give you another option. But the option is still very similar to the other option. You know, and then it's just kind of like, well, no, I would prefer not to go there. You saying the option that was very similar to what you were comfortable with before is her indicating that, hey, I don't like maybe your taste. Yeah, it's just, I don't like your taste, you know, or I don't like what your expectations are of paying for this type of meal. So I feel like women, we actually tell you guys or hint to you guys very often.
Yeah, hint. That's the problem. Is always a hint.
We can't read between lines.
Yes, just say it.
Very well.
Men are stupid.
We're idiots.
Men are simple and
stupid.
Men are simple and stupid creatures. Just tell us exactly, and we can move on. No hints or games.
I don't think you guys also understand is that it's not always the safest thing to do to tell a man, hey, no, like that's not okay, or I'm not okay with that, because that's another thing that comes into
ego.
play. Men do not take rejection very well.
I disagree with that. I think women don't take rejection very well.
This is a woman telling you.
This is a woman who's rejected plenty of men.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Stephanie. She's rejected many men. But Stephanie, how often do you get rejected? I bet it's not often, and I bet that's why you probably might not be good at it.
No, I wouldn't even say that I've rejected so many men, because what Terrance was saying was to be transparent and upfront about your dislikes about someone. That's why we have to tiptoe a lot of the time, because it's that fear factor that goes into it.
Wait, when you say fear,
like actual fear?
Yeah, like
no, seriously, because there are men that can get violent. There are men that can get very rude,
losers
with you. I mean, hey, there's a lot of losers.
Yeah, sure.
But you know, these are just things that women, I feel, we tend to think about in the back of our head, because it's like, okay, you're dealing with this one guy. Oh, what am I supposed to tell them? Oh, sorry, you're just not making enough money that I envision myself with in the future. Guess what? You just emasculated this man, chopped off his balls, and put it to the side, and say, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
It's true. It's very true.
And are you supposed? Yeah, and it's like, are you just supposed to say, like, as a man, oh, thank you for your feedback, ma'am. Let's go our separate ways.
I mean, listen, if you were that blunt, I think it's the same. Like, men could be that blunt. Men could be that blunt too. You know, like if a woman, I mean, without anything. And so I think obviously you could be quite rude if someone approached you and you were like, well, your boobs are just not quite big enough for me. I mean, that would be like humiliating or something.
Yeah,
like
your hair's not real.
Yeah, or something like that. Oh, your hips are like that. I think it could go both ways. I mean, I guess you told it, but I don't know. So I think the standard thing is an interesting question. I don't know that women have higher standards. Maybe they just have more specific standards.
Well, Joe, tell Stephanie your standards.
Well, I don't know. I mean, my order.
What is your standards? Because
I don't know if I said my
you
order.
claimed you had, you're pretty high. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's just I don't know. I'm not going to settle for someone who I'm not happy with.
Mhm.
Finances isn't even on my list necessarily, or not like my top 4 or whatever 5 we were mentioning. I think my number one.
You hear that, ladies? You got a sugar daddy here.
No, did not what I said. Just
that
I don't care about
his list.
No. I
Don't
said
matter
her
what you
finances.
got.
Just because I said I don't really care about her finances doesn't mean I want someone to mooch off of me. I'm not paying for anything.
Big Daddy Joe, right? That was
Big Daddy Giuseppe. That's me. Yeah, Big Daddy Giuseppe also. I need a co-captain, Terrance, not a just a little hood rat or something. I think the number one for me would probably be, I think, just communication. Like if you have someone you can communicate with well and speak to, and you're just on the same page about anything, that's like vital. I think that's up there. I think trust, like really knowing that someone is there for you. Like not only you can trust them not to do anything like behind your back, but also just like if things were to go to shit, like they're still there for you. Like that's like you have them. Dependability, I guess, up there. Looks, I think, are important too, but it's just, I think people get this weird thing about like looks, but it's like, it's not that you need to look this crazy way, but if I'm not attracted to you, then we're just friends. What the hell is that? So you need to be attractive to me. That's just my own, what I find attractive. I mean, that should be for everybody. Like you shouldn't date someone you're not attracted to. I mean, who does that? I don't know what my other ones would be. I mean,
no, I don't think that's that high.
No, but I'm saying like it doesn't sound that high. No, but like I'm not gonna like date someone who's interested in me or be with someone who's interested in me if I'm not like especially interested in them. Like I've turned down women before. I know that might surprise you based on my face, but I have, because if I'm just not interested in them, then it's like, well, what's the point? Like that's not how I roll. Like I need you to hit most of those pillars. So I don't know.
So women are being stuck up because, well, I'm sorry, not being stuck up.
Hoes and tricks, Terrance.
Women are being cautious on how they deny men. They're not being stuck up.
Sure. I think, listen, I don't know if women have higher standards than men. I don't know if we really figured that out. I do think maybe it's different. I think they're very different.
If I'm looking at your list and I'm looking at Stephanie's list, women have higher standards.
But I think it's different.
But I'm only one person.
And she's only one person.
Small sample size.
But I think
I think you would probably be like in that 6 if you're saying 10 group of women. 6 of you guys have the same.
I think it's different standards. I don't know if there's especially higher, like finances though. Like I don't know, not everyone's making good money, so that might seem higher, but I don't know that it is. It's just different, right? Like I don't know. I just think it's not necessarily higher. It's just I don't know. Yeah, I think men don't think about the finances as much, and maybe that's stupid, or maybe I think
because
men are more. I've always.
It.
Well, I don't know. I've been with several women who made more money than me, so. But I don't know. I've always thought that men are just more romantic. Like people think women are more romantic because when they're younger, they're playing house. It's the thing. Like really? Women. Yeah. Listen. Here's the thing. Women grow up and people, they're planning their perfect wedding and blah blah blah, and they want this perfect man. But the reality is, and it's similar to what you just said, Stephanie. They will be with the safe dentist or the doctor or the lawyer because he makes good money, comes from a good family. Which 2 things you said. Mm-hmm. Whereas men are not like that at all. When you find that one, you just go after her. Everything else is irrelevant. Terrance half stalked Corey. He didn't know anything about her finances and shit.
For sure.
He knew she was beautiful, and he knew, according to him, that she was beautiful and that he liked her.
Also, I did know about her finances because I knew where she worked, and I knew if you're working there and you're in that position, you're making good money.
Well, so there you go. So it is important to you.
I wouldn't say it's not on my list. If you ask me if I put it on my list, I wouldn't put it on my list.
So me and you were similar,
but it's something that like I'm like, okay, cool. Like you said, I don't want to bum. Like I'm not. Yeah. I'm gonna be with a bum. And then at the time, if I'm in a certain position, you're a reflection of me. Whoever is my co-captain, my partner, you're a reflection of me. For so sure. If we go to a like a company, dinner party or whatever, and everybody knows what I do. When they ask you what you do, and you don't really have anything to say, I'm gonna be the conversation tomorrow. Yeah. Yo, do you saw who Terrance brought to the thing last night?
but see, this is what I mean. I do think it is a bit of a microcosm of like how me and Terrance think and how you think, Stephanie, where that's why I think men are more romantic. Like the finances is important to you. The family is important. Me and Terrance don't even think about those things as much. It's about, obviously, yeah, like growth, like you said, Terrance, is important. You don't want a bum, but what's more important is like, are we into them? Do we vibe with them? Are we able to talk? Like that stuff is way more important to us. And then again, it's a small sample size. It's 3 people, but I think that's kind of similar to my experiences.
So. All right, Joe, ask the question.
Yes. Okay. So well, first off, Stephanie, of course, thank you for joining. Need I say more? We love having you. I think we can say that, right, Terrance? You liked having her?
Absolutely. I love
You're
this
going to be like, no. So before we go, we always ask our guests one specific question. Mm-hmm. So if you could tell all the men out there one thing they need to stop doing, what would it be? And you could answer this question in a million ways. It could be what they do in bed. It could be how they approach you, what they do in relationships. Whatever is the first thing that comes to your mind that you're like, men need to stop fucking doing this.
Stop dating for fun.
What?
Just stop. It's not very helpful just to
what if you're in college?
Just for fun.
What if you're in college?
I feel like
Joe, you can't. This is not the part of the show where we debate it.
I'm just asking her.
Where we just
I'm just asking her a question though, like dating for fun, like that's what you do when you're like younger and you're in college and stuff too. So is that the kind of count for them?
Honestly, I feel like the best piece of advice in dating I wish I would have gotten was to date with intention and like don't worry about having like, oh, just having fun. Like, no, yes, you can have fun with someone, but don't let that be the primary reason why you're dating. Just kind of, so I would advise for men to kind of like, date more with intention and not just like having fun, just like, oh, living in the moment, just having fun to have fun. It's like, no, like before you make your decision to ask someone out, like think about the future and not just it being a good time.
Stop vibing with women all the time.
I hate that word.
Do you?
What are we doing? We just vibing.
All right. Well, so that's the advice for all men listening. Don't date with intention. That's I think the moral of this.
Kill the vibes.
Yeah, no fun. Focus on the intention. Long-term shit. Look in the future. But all right, Terrance, I think that's it for our guest. Unless you have anything for her, Terrance.
No, absolutely not. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great. For real.
Steph, do you want to?
Thank you guys for having me.
You want to pimp an Instagram or anything like to go on?
Yeah, any business you're doing?
Anything you want to shout out?
Shout out.
No shout outs at the moment. None at the moment.
No Instagram to follow. Nothing. You're good.
I'm great.
Okay.
I don't want no more. No, I don't want nobody else in my DMs.
Do not try to get into my DMs without intention. She's already putting nipping that in the bud. All right, Stephanie, thank you so much again for being on the show.
All right, thank you for having me, guys. Bye.
Bye. Terrance, what did we learn today?
Man, we actually learned a lot from this one.
Date with intention, I think, was the first thing.
Date with intention,
Which, by the way, listen, Steph, I'm sure you're listening to this, Stephanie. I disagree with that personally. I think, especially when you're younger, if you're in high school, college, not like that time frame, I think it's fine to just date for fun and enjoy it. I think maybe when you get older, you should, the person who you're with should maybe know what you're in it for if you're just dating for a fling. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like if that's what both people know about it, especially when you're in college, like you're not dating to get married necessarily.
Maybe in college, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you are, but I don't think like there's anything wrong with going, well, I'm not looking for marriage. I'm just looking to have fun. As long as the other person knows that, then what's the problem? Personally. That's what I think.
So I think dating with transparency.
Yes, I think, yes, that's a good way to say date with transparency. So, yeah, because if I am looking for just hanging out with somebody and having a fling and so is she, well, then I don't know wrong with that.
Yeah. I mean, we also learned that, look, like it or not, finances, it's something. It's something that's high on the list, and most women have it high on the list. And as much as, men may try to ignore it. Yeah. How well you're doing in life matters about the quality of women that you date.
Right.
And
I think some chick who works at Burger King, but
if you're looking for a quality woman, then I think, making sure that you have secured certain things in life and put yourself in a position to be able to court a woman like that matters. That does matter.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a little sad for me, but I guess I understand where women are coming from. So I'm not going to knock people for thinking that. For me, I guess it's sad. I'd rather it's about love, which may sound corny or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good talk. We're glad we had Stephanie on. We'll definitely see if we can get her back on at some point if she wants to be on. If you would like to email us, it is the needisaymorepod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram, Need I Say More Pod. Sorry, at Need I Say More Pod. Follow us on Twitter at Need I Say More Pod. Very simple to remember.
Look at the branding.
Look
at the branding.
We gotta hire a manager or something for this shit.
Yeah, somebody gotta handle all this shit.
That's it, Terrance. And then you know what? Even if you don't want to be part of the contest, just say what's up. You can send us hey, what's up? I like the show. You know what? How about that?
We see the numbers, so we do know people are listening.
Yes, but
we appreciate that.
But almost no one wants to write in. So listen, just let us know you're listening. A quick email, a quick Hey, I love the show. Anything.
Look, we might have a bunch of introverted followers. So
use a fake email if you want. I don't care. Just send something. You don't want us to know. If you want to be anonymous, just say, hey, don't say my name. I'll say
Joe wants to interact with you guys.
I mean, Joe, you don't?
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're hearing it, as long as
this is why they're not writing in, because they know you don't care.
I mean, look, I still love and respect everybody that's been listening and following along.
Anyway, Terrance, we always end our show with a hypothetical question. Ready for this week's hypothetical?
What you got?
I saw this in a movie several years ago. I don't remember a movie, don't remember what happened, but I was with a girlfriend at the time. And in the movie, like it was some, rundown in middle of nowhere place. And these two guys were together and they got a hotel room and it was like two separate beds, like those hotel rooms. They went out and they ended up picking up some girls, or maybe they were hookers. I don't remember, but they went back. They each were having sex on the separate beds in the same room though. So my question to you, Terrance, is could you do that? Because you have sex with, like, whether you're single with a girl or with your girlfriend, whatever it is, while there's another couple like 10 feet away in a different bed also having sex?
I've done it before.
What?
I've done it.
Recently? Or were you much younger?
Recently? No, me and Corey are not swingers.
No, it's not about swinging. It's just that you only have one room and there's no, like, what else can you do?
No.
No one's trading places. It's just you're having sex on one bed, they're on the other. You stay separate.
I've done it before in the past for sure.
You were younger?
Yeah,
like a kid, younger, like
hotel
20?
room on a vacation. It's.
Were you? And was anyone under covers, or were you both outside, just in full view of each other?
I wasn't looking at.
Well, no, you're not. I'm just asking if that was how it was.
I mean, we was under the covers. If you asked me what was going on with them, I think I glanced over once or twice or whatever.
Big hairy leg. You were like, oh god.
If I remember correctly, they was doing their thing. I was focused on what I was doing.
So you think you could do that now?
Now with my future wife, no.
Because it's your future wife, or because of her, or because it's like you don't want to do that with?
Because I'm a grown ass man.
Okay. So okay. I just want to make sure. So it's because that's like you're desperate for sex at 20 years old.
I can get my own place. Like I can do my own thing.
I'm saying if you somehow in the situation, you went to a hotel, they had no other rooms. Would you do it, or did you be like, no, like we're not doing that?
No, we're not. No,
it's just too old for that, right? You're not desperate for sex anymore.
I'm not. No. I could.
It's like when you were like 20, you'd have sex anywhere in a broom closet if you could, but you just needed somewhere. Okay.
That's not happening now.
I'm with you too, man. I don't know if I probably would have when I was younger, like that, like when you're just desperate, not even desperate, you're just like the hormones, man. You just can't control yourself. But yeah, no, definitely not anymore. I'd be like, this is the most awkward thing I can imagine doing. Especially not with you. You can't be in the same room. That'd be 10 times more awkward.
No, it'll never happen.
No, it won't. But all right, Terrance, that wraps up our show. Unless you got anything else for us, man.
No, man. No, this was a fun episode.
It was,
got me out of my little funk that I was in. So
yes,
it was really, really good. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. Need I say more?